to catch it on camera. Not to say that we can't. If you see a UFO, that's a little bit easier. But when we are in the abduction state, and Rachel can chime in if she wants to, we're sedated, and most of the time it's a state where we're asleep, and we are sedated with some sort of drug. We wake up completely drowsy, so we don't have a lot of control. And they also have the ability to paralyze us, so we can't move. So it might be very difficult, even if they are in the room and we are awake and we can see them, we may not be able to move and grab a phone or a camera or anything like that.
Yeah, 'cause the last thing that you're thinking of is like, oh, I should grab a camera, but I guess like if you train yourself to keep thinking like, okay, as the experience keeps happening, maybe grab a camera real quick. But then again, you never know. I mean, it's difficult. You know, it's really, really difficult. And plus, like, I don't know. I feel like I disrespect them by like taking a picture of them, because the gifts that they've given me I wouldn't take it back for anything. You know, but
so you take it as a positive experience. Tell me about, you know, this breeding hybrid experiment that they're doing with you.
Well, you know, it's really difficult to talk about. This is something that I don't even go into depth with most of the time, you know, and I'm still really apprehensive to talk about it, you know, but I mean, we'll get there. I promise we'll get there. We'll get there.
Certainly, certainly, I could understand it's you know, something personal and delicate. So we'll change the subject on that. Let's take a call. Let's see who's calling into Third Phase of Moon. Area code 111's back. Welcome to Third Phase. Who are we speaking with here?
Hi, Blake. This is Dr. J. Andy Elias. Just calling in.
Hey,
I heard the guests, Rachel and Jacqueline. I met them in person. They are amazing women, and they have a remarkable story to tell. And, you know, when we do our Saturday show, we're going to focus one direct show on experiencers and have these girls basically tell their whole stories further in detail than what they have. Other than that, what they're saying with the different Arcturians, I wanted to ask you, can you describe the Arcturians?
Yeah, here's the issue with it. Like, they told me their name, but I swear it was like a different translation. The closest beings that I can describe them to are Arcturians, so I'm just gonna dub them as Arcturians. They were tall, blue-faced, long type nose, but their heads were really, really big, but their eyes were just something incredible. It's like a galaxy, like an orangey yellow type eye. Their love that they exude is something I've never, ever felt before in my life. Like, if you want to feel infinite love, those beings, like, give out infinite love. It is something so unreal. They were just really regally, like, it was strange. Like, I've never seen them before, so I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Okay, they were wearing, like some kind of collared, I can't even describe it. It was, like, really, really intricate. So,
you know, many of these people who have the dream states end up realizing they weren't actually dreams. Blake, you've talked to people with that. What do you say about that?
Well, they explain that, you know, they really don't have the answers to everything. But I want to ask both Jacqueline and Rochelle about what would you suggest or give advice to anybody that has these experiences that are so shocking, they sound like nightmares, and I'm sure you sometimes probably felt like it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
How do you, tell our listeners what they would, or how they would deal with it without, going insane? And do you tell friends? Do you tell your parents? How does it work?
That's the hard part, because I haven't told my parents, and I haven't told coworkers and so forth, that only certain people know. I would definitely, me and Rachel cope with it because we go to places where there's people that actually believe in this stuff. That's the hardest part.
We have each other to talk to about it.
Yeah. Not the experience. Even if the experience is awful, it's not that. It's having to be going to society and have people look at you like, how is that possible? Just because they don't have the experience themselves, because they don't understand. That's probably the hardest. I definitely encourage going to events and things that are of that nature that they can relate to people and meet other people like us. There's also, Yvonne Smith has CERO, which is an organization that both me and Ray are a part of, which is the Close Encounter Resource Organization, which is where we met John. And there's lots of groups out there. I know Barbara Lamb, who does regression, has her own group as well. So if people feel that they're having experiences, especially if they can't cope with them, they definitely need to see somebody who does hypnosis regression. These are licensed doctors and they're therapists as well, so they can help if people are feeling depressed about it. If they can't deal with it, they can definitely get help. That's what basically me and Ray do, Rachel.
Yeah, but even though, say these people who are having the same experiences we do, sometimes it's hard to go out and actually talk to people about it. Now, my message to them is stay strong, stay positive, and know that you're not alone. And when you're ready to come out and talk about it, there'll be people who are waiting to listen and to help you. You know, you just have to stay positive. I know the experiences are hard. Trust me, they're difficult. And there's times when I get scared still. You know, some of them are really scary, but there's times where you just have to ground your feet and stay positive. That's the most important thing, but just know you're not alone.
That's some incredible advice there. You know, John's going to be speaking tomorrow on freedomslips.com radio, the largest radio show on the internet, and with Stan Romnick, famous abductee, and he shared with us some amazing video and some photos of actual alien beings visiting them. Are you excited tomorrow, John? Are you going to be asking the hard questions?
Oh, absolutely. You know we are. We've been working on the questions for a long time. As a matter of fact, the good thing is we have 2 hours so he gets to tell a lot more of his story, and his wife's even going to be joining us, and it's going to be a hell of a show. You're going to be joining us, too, just so any other questions that we didn't ask here, you got as well. Preston Dennett, the MUFON researcher who's been investigating this stuff for 23 years, definitely has some of the hard questions that he needs to ask. And after this, the following week, we're going to have Stan Friedman, and the week after that, Dr. Lear. So everyone out there listening, make sure you tune in to freedomslips.com. Saturdays, 2 to 4 Eastern, 11 to 1 Pacific.
I want to go back to Jacqueline again and ask her about, have you ever been in a spaceship yourself? And if so, describe the detail and what it feels like to be.
You know, that's interesting because I just had my regression with Yvonne last week, and in the dream state, I would think I was in a shopping mall. And when I was regressed, I realized I'm in a spaceship. So this is probably happening to a lot of people who are having experiences, but they can't actually zone in on what is actually happening. So this is where hypnosis regression really helps. I have experiences where I remember being on small ships, but never on a really big ship until I realized all my dreams of being in a shopping mall were actually in a large UFO. So, or like a mothership type. And basically, the reason I associated it with a mall, even though there's no stores, it's because there's multi-levels. So think of an indoor mall with a lot of lights. And the beings that I have experienced with abduction are actually tall humanoids. So they look human, but they're taller, they're more slender, they have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Hey, John, remember that connection you gave us over there at Third Phase with Dr. Jacobs?
Yes, the professor who worked on abductions for almost 3 decades, if not longer.
Yeah, and he's specialized in hypnotic regression. And when we started asking the questions, in the past he was totally thinking that this was not true. People have got other issues with what's going on with them. But now, with everybody having the same story, millions of people and all the people that he's put under hypnotic regression, that now he is a believer that there is something really going on.
There definitely is, and what's interesting is we do have the same stories. A lot of abductees experience being in some sort of mall-type environment because of the lighting. A lot of abductees also experience having dreams of being on tables that are like counters in their kitchen, so they're having experiences that they think that they're having sexual experiences in kitchens. But the reality is you're not in a kitchen, you're on a metal table, you're actually in some sort of UFO or examining room, and they're doing what they need to do for their hybridization program. But we associate it with things that we're comfortable with.
Do you have any idea why they're doing this hybrid program?
We actually don't, and even the experts have a variety of different reasons, everything from that particular species of extraterrestrial is dying out and they need to continue their species, to they're just experimenting to see what happens, to the fact that we might all be hybrids, and therefore they're just trying to see how far they can go with our evolution. I mean, there's so many different reasons. Rachel, do you want to chime in on that?
Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. Sorry if I've been coughing or you can hear it. I've been having a really bad sinus infection. But you know, I mean, it's interesting because there's, like Jackie said, there's so many ways you can go with it. I mean, they can try to, you know, prolong their race because they're dying out, or they're going to repopulate the planet with hybrids because our species needs to step forward to evolution, and that's the only way to do it. I mean, you don't know. They're not going to. Why would a king tell its servant its plan? You know, there's no reason to. They're not going to tell us exactly what's going on. I mean, there's so many possibilities. You don't know. You don't know. And would I like answers? Would everybody like answers? Of course. Now, it's a matter of digging for them and actually trying to find them, and it's not easy. I mean, it's not going to be. Even if we get a little bit of information, that's still very, very profound. So we'll see what happens. I mean, you never know. Things are accelerating at an amazing rate right now. I mean, we can have the answers tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, things are just incredible. I don't know, you know? Yeah, I mean, we met for a reason. I mean, it's incredible. Like, we're a dynamic duo, you know, and we're here to, you know, blow caps off of things and really help people and move forward and expose this, because right now, I mean, you can talk to experts all day long, but what about the actual people who are actually experiencing this phenomenon? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hey, thanks again for joining us at Third Phase of Moon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Just like Jacqueline and Rachel. And tomorrow's going to be a great show with Stan Romanek. So is next week with Stanton Friedman. The week after that, the 30th, with Dr. Roger Lear. Again, it's at freedomslips.com, 11 to 1 Pacific Standard Time, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be a great show, Blake. You're going to be on there. We'll be asking the hard questions, and everyone's going to have a good time.
Wow, those are some incredible guests that you got on the show, and I'm looking forward to asking some of the questions. And let me tell you, to be a bit honest, I'm looking forward to, you know, ask and speak again with Stanton T. Friedman. You know, he's the man, right, John?
Of course, and he just won the Lifetime Achievement Award for all those listeners out there who were not part of the UFO Congress or didn't show or didn't see the videos quite yet. He did win, finally, after all these years, 54 years of research. He won the Lifetime Achievement Award for ufology, and it's a great honor for him to have. He deserves it. He was the original civilian researcher on Roswell, and he's a great person to speak to, Blake, and I know you got more questions for him, so when we get him on, we're going to ask away.
Oh, I just can't wait. This is absolutely great. We're getting the word out. People are calling, sharing their stories. Hey, thanks again, Dr. J. Elias, for joining us at Third Phase of Moon. Anytime,
Blake. Thank you.
All right. Well, you know, freedomslips.com, a lot of listeners, people are listening, and we're excited that Dr. J. Andy Elias is our correspondent on the radio show, and every once in a while I get to come in and ask some of the questions, and it is absolutely great. And if you've captured anything amazing in regards to UFOs, you can contact Third Phase of Moon via Skype or Facebook. My name's Blake Cousins. Keep your eyes on the skies, and we'll see you again next time.